Round one in the books, and hold on. You know what? I see a lot of comments about the Falcons drafting Bijan Robinson. What do I think about it? Why did they draft Bijan? Well, these are going to be my opinions as a Falcons fan going through some of this. So before we get to the why Bijan and why I really like the pick, why didn't we draft some of the other guys? Well, first off, I can tell by a lot of the comments I saw on Twitter, you guys don't actually watch the Falcons, and that's fine, because I probably don't actually watch your team either. So I don't really give input on it because I don't like to talk about things I don't know. You guys, a little bit different, and that's okay. So, drafting at 8, obviously running back, kind of high. It's a little high, right? We understand that. Why not Jalen Carter? Well, I think Jalen Carter is going to be a great player, right? I do. Going to be a slight bias there, but I think the reason the Falcons probably didn't go with him there was obviously there's been a few issues that have happened, right? Are those going to be continuing issues going forward? We obviously all will hope not, right? But anytime there's any issues and you'd be drafting someone who would be staying locally, it makes sense to me to kind of not keep them there. Maybe sometimes getting away would be a better situation for them. And I think, again, I would have liked us drafting Jalen Carter. I think him getting away from Athens, from Georgia, from Atlanta is probably a good thing. And him going to Philadelphia with a bunch of other guys that he's played with is actually a great spot for him, right? It's a really great spot for him. So I think that's why they didn't go with Jalen there. What about corner? Again, they just traded for Jeff Okudah, right? They actually ended up cutting Casey Hayward. I think he may come back. Didn't overly need corner at this point in time, right? What about other pass rushers? Well, if you watch the way that the draft played out, they said they should have taken Myles Murphy. Well, he ended up going in the 20s. Nolan Smith, what do you go, 30? Right? So I think it's safe to say those also would have been reaches. And what have the Falcons spent money on? Defense. They spent all this money in free agency on defense, right? Now, free agency isn't always going to solve all your problems, and you would love to draft an amazing player, get him at a value. It's okay, right? It's okay. They're spending their money over here so that they can do something over here in the draft. Now, having a running back at 8, just generally across the board in terms from any team, yeah, it's probably not a great value. Yes, the Falcons have Cordell Patterson. I love the guy. He's getting a little bit old, right? He's probably not going to be around all that much longer, which is just true. We got Tyler Algier last year. He rushed for 1,000 yards as a rookie. So why do you need a running back? Well, we actually don't need a running back, but what we do need is weapons. Weapons. Bijan Robinson isn't the same type of player that Tyler Algier is at all. He's much more Cordero Patterson. When he was playing great, made this offense diverse, and it made it work, right? And that's the beauty here. A lot of the questions and comments I also saw about the Falcons was, wow, you're going to run the ball when you're down 40? Again, I assume you didn't watch the games. The only game the Falcons lost this year that was kind of a blowout was against the Bengals. It was against the Bengals. They lost so many close games. Are you aware of that? Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. We might as well, right? We might as well. I don't want to lie to you guys. Let's see here. Falcons. Are you ready for this? Lost by 1 to the Saints, 4 to the Rams, 6 to the Bucks, 18 to Cincy, 3 to the Chargers, 10 to the Panthers, 6 to Washington, 3 to Pittsburgh, 3 to New Orleans, 8 to Baltimore. Well, I guess if we're down 40, yeah, okay. All right. Let's bring up another point about this. A lot of these losses were really low-scoring games. 21-15 to Tampa, 20-17 to the Chargers, 25-15, 19-13, 19-16, 21-18, 17-9. It doesn't really feel like the defense was doing all that terrible. And again, when you have an offense that is very ball control, you're given less possessions and your defense isn't on the field as much and they don't have to do as much. So did it look like in those games and those scores that, man, if we had a pass rush, we would have won that game against Baltimore 9-8? No, it doesn't look that way, does it? But what if we scored more? And that's what they're focused on is scoring more points, turning those zeros into threes and those threes into sevens each and every time down the field. And that's where Bijan comes in here, because it is a really smart pick when you break it down to its most full bottom level. Desmond Ridder is going to be the quarterback. Again, comment, who's going to be the quarterback? It's Desmond Ridder. Is Desmond Ridder going to be great? I don't know. Is he going to be good? I don't know. Is he going to be really good? I don't know. But how do you find out if a quarterback can make it? You give him everything he needs to succeed. You have Drake London, who's a pretty good receiver. You have Kyle Pitts, who's a pretty good tight end, right? They added Jonnu Smith. I think we need a wide receiver too a little bit, right? Wouldn't mind that. Maybe that comes in the draft. And you have 3 pretty good running backs now. Okay. So guess what? If Desmond Ridder can't succeed in this offense with these players, then we know he's probably not the guy, and we can go get someone. Maybe it's a free agent. Maybe it's in the draft next year. And then that guy who comes in has the same amount of weapons, who is built to succeed. We're not wasting time with the quarterback trying to see how good is he, because we will find out pretty quickly. If you can't make this work with these weapons, the assumption is going to be you can't make it work completely. Running back at 8 is a high pick. We understand that. If you do more reading and research now after the first round, you realize the Falcons actually would have liked to trade down. And I wouldn't have blamed them at all at trading down. But when you see Detroit pick Jahmyr Gibbs not too long after, you realize the Falcons understood they couldn't really trade down that far. And so they got kind of stuck where they were and just picked the player that they wanted. Could they have traded with the Eagles? Because the Eagles got Jalen Carter. Well, if they would have traded with the Eagles, there's the potential they take Bijan Robinson and then they don't get the player they want. So they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to leave Bijan on the board at 10 in case the Eagles would take him. They didn't want to be there anymore, especially after Detroit trades back, because they knew Detroit was looking running back. So they actually had no other option but you either take the guy that you really want or trade down and see who's there. I'm all about taking the guy who you want, right? That is what this team has been doing recently. Has it provided a ton of success? Not lately. You had an old Matt Ryan. We had bad cap situations. We brought in Mariota. That didn't really work. You drafted Ridder. Is that going to work? Again, nobody knows, right? But put this team in the correct position to succeed. And if they don't succeed, then next year is a really good quarterback class as well. And if you really, really fail, maybe you get a really high pick. I don't think that's actually possible with this team. Whether Ridder is good or not, Heineke is a backup. He ain't going to let you go 3-14. It's not going to happen, right? This team has got like a 5-6 win floor, right? And is that good enough to go take Caleb Williams next year? Probably not, right? It's probably not. It's going to be interesting, but I really like the pick. I like having Bijan here. I like having more weapons on offense. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I would have loved to see the Falcons trade back up into the first round. Again, if at that point you could have grabbed Nolan Smith, great. There's some other good players still available right now in the draft. I don't think they're going to be there necessarily when the Falcons pick later tonight, but I do like the idea. I wish they'd traded up. I bet they tried to. Again, being able to get that 5th-year option on some of these guys is really key and important. Provides you another year of kind of like a lower salary, especially people at the low end of the first round. But it didn't really work out that way. What about, you're going to have to pay Bijan $10 million in 5 years. Oh, okay. Do you know how the salary cap works? It just keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. The salary cap is going to be a lot in 5 years, right? I'm not if you're worried about 5 years from now, you're doing it wrong. Worry about today. Worry about today, right? Okay, get it, got it, good. I'm not going to give the grade like an A+. That'd be completely biased. I'm just going to say I like the pick. I'm very happy that this is the route that they went. Again, will it work? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. Couple other small notes here. I thought the Eagles killed it in the draft. they did, right? They did. There's no two ways about it. The Patriots taking Christian Gonzalez, where they did, was a great pick. Some of the run on receivers there felt a little off to me. I felt like maybe the Cowboys could have gone a different route. The Saints getting Brissy late in the first. Again, I think that's fine. I think that kind of fits with how the Saints have been drafting lately. And I don't like the Saints, but they actually draft pretty well. The Panthers, Bryce Young was the right pick. The Bucks, I think Elijah Cansey, sure. I think they had bigger needs, so I'm okay with that. And I really just care about the NFC South. This is a very winnable division. Adding Bijan gives us a better chance to win the division now. 100% now, right? It does. So that's my take. Falcons, good picks, boys. Love you guys. I'm out. Peace.